In my past life, Santiago, as the representative of the review committee, blocked my promotion for 10 years. He said, "You're my wife, you need to avoid conflicts of interest. This is only the second year, you still have chances. By the fifth year, Lisa, you should give more opportunities to the younger generation." Back in our day, if the older generation hadn't stepped down, it wouldn't have been so easy to get into the research institute. In the final year, I knew that if I didn't get promoted, I would have to step down. I pleaded desperately with him. But the next day, the person ranked first on the promotion list was his true love. This time, the always grandiose Santiago used all his connections and blocked me again. In infinite regret, I was literally furious to death. When I opened my eyes again, I was back to the day I retrieved my resignation withdrawal application. Chapter 1. Lisa, I'm off to work. Remember to go find the teacher and get your resignation withdrawal application back later. The sound of the door closing came to my ears. Only then did I suddenly sit up from the bed. Looking at this old house from 30 or 40 years ago, I finally realized I really was reborn. Back to 1977. That year was our second year of marriage. Santiago and I both passed the exam to Northwest Industrial University. But just last night, because Santiago's mother broke her leg, we agreed on this. I would withdraw my resignation, give up my university opportunity, and stay to continue working at the military factory. He would follow the plan and go to Northwest University. The next year, I originally wanted to continue applying to university, but I got pregnant and had to put the plan on hold. Later, we lived apart for more than 10 years. During those years, I raised the child alone, cared for my parents, and worked. When I finally became a technician and just entered the research institute, Santiago returned. Because of his excellent resume, he became the head of the research institute. Then, I spent 10 years trying to advance further, but I was blocked every year. The first year, he blocked me. He said because I was his wife, to avoid gossip, he blocked me. Told me to try again the next year. The second year, he said I still had a chance. I should study more skills and knowledge. By the fifth year, I was still the one blocked. I humiliatingly asked why. Why did the entire research institute leadership think my skills were strong, yet only he blocked me? He was silent for a moment, then said, "Lisa, you should give more opportunities to the younger generation." Back then, if the older generation hadn't stepped down, it wouldn't have been so easy to enter the research institute. In the final year, I knew if I didn't get promoted, I would have to quit, so I pleaded desperately. But the next day, the top on the promotion list was his true love. This time, the always grandiose Santiago even used all his connections to block me again. Taking away my last chance, the promotion opportunity. That's when I realized. During the 10+ years we were apart, there was always someone by Santiago's side. That person chose to live alone her entire life, no marriage, no children, just to be by his side forever. In the end, he couldn't bear to see her leave the research institute, so he blocked me. At the moment I saw the list, I instinctively looked at the two of them. Santiago was visibly relieved, and the woman was crying tears of joy, but I felt like I was sacrificed silently in their shameful pact. Thinking of this, I trembled and covered my face, tears falling like broken pearls through my fingers, quickly soaking the bedding. This foolish decision, I spent my whole life paying for it. Chapter 2. After calming down, I quietly made breakfast and ate. Then I went to the factory to see the leader. "Your application, I haven't submitted it yet. Why the change of heart?" I smiled sheepishly. "I'm truly sorry, leader." The leader waved his hand and returned the application to me. "Lisa, you got accepted to Northwest Industrial University. That's also an honor for our factory. I was just advising Santiago the day before yesterday, saying it's a pity if you don't go. Didn't expect you to change your mind today." Looks like Santiago's words still hold weight. I smiled, thanked the leader, and left the factory. Once outside, I tore up the application and threw it in the trash. Looking at the shredded pieces, I couldn't help but laugh bitterly at myself. The leader had advised Santiago to let me go to Northwest. But Santiago never mentioned it. He even urged me to come back and take back my application early. In my past life, I used my future to support him to study at ease. But he, at university, had a confidant who understood his heart. And for her, he blocked my promotion spot year after year. In the final year, he didn't hesitate to use all his influence to protect his true love and block me. Chapter 3. I returned home with red eyes. Stunned, I sat for most of the day before finally getting up to pack my luggage. The school term was approaching, and the journey was far. The train ticket I had bought earlier was taken by Santiago, who said he would help me get a refund. When I bought the ticket, there were no tickets available for the same day. So Santiago and I were scheduled to leave for the Northwest a day apart. I was to leave a day earlier, meaning I had a ticket for early tomorrow morning. I had to figure out how to get my ticket back, otherwise buying a new one might be too late. Silently, I made lunch. Just consider it a farewell meal for myself and Santiago, in this life and the last. Chapter 4. When Santiago came back, the last dish had just been served. This is the prescription. You'll have to go to the pharmacy once a week to get the medicine. Santiago handed me the paperwork. I'll leave the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow, let's go to the photo studio and take a picture together. I remembered the previous life. Before he left, he also took me to have a photo taken. For the following many years, he lived carefree. While I clung to that photo to get through the days, taking care of his parents, raising our child, and losing my own future in the process. I curled my lips slightly. All right. Wait until you can find me tomorrow, then we'll talk. During the meal, I asked, by the way, have you refunded my train ticket? Without looking up, Santiago said, not yet, I'm planning to go this afternoon. Why? Give me the ticket, I'll go refund it. I hesitated. I happen to have time. I need to get some paperwork this afternoon too. I was worried I wouldn't make it to refund on time. Santiago handed me the ticket. I held it tightly and breathed a big sigh of relief. That afternoon, after Santiago left, I took out all the usual things from the house. Those that could be given away were given away. Those that could be sold, sold. Chapter 5. That night, Santiago came back with his mother. In my previous life, Santiago only brought his mother over the next day. So when I saw him bring her back that day, I was a little stunned. What's with that face? Not happy to see me? Santiago grew up in a single-parent family. His mother raised him alone. It wasn't easy. He is very filial, and his mother is quite strong-willed. In my past life, I understood how hard it was for her, so I always tried to please her. But no matter how much I cared for her over more than a decade until her death, she was always extremely critical of me. Now that I have been reborn, I naturally won't spoil her. Santiago didn't tell me you'd come today, so the house isn't ready yet. You'll have to wait a bit. Santiago looked surprised when I called him by name like that because before I only called him by his first name casually. He thought I was upset because he suddenly brought his mother over, so he hurried to explain. It's just that I happened to be picking up some documents today, and a friend had a car, so I took the chance to bring my mom over first. Well, bringing her today or tomorrow makes no difference anyway. Santiago's mother saw how attentive her son was to please me, explaining even why she was brought over, and her face turned sour. Santiago noticed his mother's displeasure and quickly said, "Let's give up our room for Mom, we'll stay in the other one." I didn't mind. We were leaving tomorrow, so it didn't matter where his mother stayed. His mother moved into our room, and her expression improved somewhat, but she still didn't settle down. She kept asking me to serve tea, pour water, and even wash her feet. I busied myself with the other room, pretending not to hear. Santiago saw my sour face and did all those things himself. Finally, after I finished packing, he lay down on the bed and exclaimed how exhausted he was. "Lisa, my mom is particular. You need to pay more attention to her, okay? Don't let her feel uncomfortable living here," I casually replied. Just as I lay down, Santiago snuggled up to me. I annoyedly moved aside a little. "Your mom is right next door." His breath blew on my neck, and his hand slipped under my clothes. "She won't hear us." Just as he said that, I heard Santiago's mother call out, "Lisa, come help me to the bathroom." I closed my eyes mockingly. Santiago resignedly got up. "Where's your wife? Why are you the one coming again? Hurry to bed. Mom can manage on her own. You have a friend to meet tomorrow and leave for the Northwest the day after. Don't overwork yourself." Right after that, I heard a lot of knocking and banging. Apparently, Santiago's mother was deliberately making noise to express her displeasure. I automatically blocked out her words and soon fell asleep. Chapter 6. I woke up as early as 6 the next day. Hearing me get up, Santiago thought I was going to buy groceries. Mom likes pork liver, see if you can get some back. I didn't even turn my head. After washing up, I grabbed the luggage I had packed long ago and took a ride to the train station. Only when I arrived at the station did I feel really hungry and quickly bought a few flatbreads from a stall outside. I had planned to make some pancakes at home yesterday to eat on the road. But Santiago's mother came over. To avoid trouble, I had to give up on that plan. After a shaky 4-day train ride, I was exhausted when I arrived at school. Once I finished all the paperwork, I crashed hard on the dorm bed. I was woken up by my roommates. Like me, they had all come from all over the country. After everyone rested enough, we planned to head to the cafeteria together. On the first official day of school, I didn't expect to see Santiago in class. After all, his mother still needed care. But in the blink of an eye, I saw him push open the door and stride toward me with a fierce look. Chapter 7. Santiago roughly dragged me out to the playground outside the classroom. Lisa, what exactly are you doing? He looked furious, as if I had done something utterly unforgivable. What are you making a fuss about? Didn't we agree you'd give up college and stay home to care for my mom? Why did you come to Northwest on your own behind my back? Do you even realize my mom is all alone at home with no one to take care of her? What do you expect her life to be like? Huh? After saying that, he roughly pulled me forward. Come on, pack your things and come back with me right now. I already told the teachers at school you're taking a temporary leave. I jerked my hand free. What did you say? Santiago sneered and looked at me. Lisa, what are you really up to? Do you even act like a wife? You left my mom at home and are here enjoying yourself. Does your conscience allow that? I stared blankly at Santiago, feeling that despite living with him a whole lifetime in the last life, this man in front of me was completely a stranger. So you mean that your mother is injured? As a daughter-in-law, giving up everything to stay and take care of her is what I should do. And me coming here to study at the university I worked so hard to get into is making trouble, living the good life. Is that what you mean? Seeing my completely unfamiliar expression, Santiago suddenly stopped breathing for a moment. It seemed that only then did he truly calm down. He couldn't help but come over and grab my hand. I'm sorry, Lisa, it's my fault. I was too emotional just now. He tried to explain. But it's also because I saw you suddenly gone and your things gone too. But we clearly agreed that you'd give up your studies temporarily and stay home to take care of Mom. Didn't we agree on that beforehand? But you came here without a word. You left a mess at home. What do you want me to do? Santiago's face looked haggard. It seemed not only did he not sleep well on the train journey, but the 2 days at home were no easier. That's true. In the past life, his mom was difficult to take care of. When I cared for her, I don't know how many times I had to get up at night. For months, I barely had a full night's sleep. But who understood my hardships back then? And Santiago only cared for his mom for 2 nights. How does that make her a mess? I sneered. Santiago, yes, we did agree that I'd give up school and stay home to care for your mom. But you only cared for her 2 days, right? How was that life? And your own mother even thought she was a mess. So why do you feel you can just throw this mess onto me as if it's natural? Santiago got angry. Why? Because she's my mom and your mother-in-law. Why do you say that? I grew up without a father. My mom raised me and even got me married. My mom arranged everything for me. But now, you. I couldn't hold back anymore. Santiago. You know she's your mom, not mine. Your mom had it tough, your mom worked hard, but wasn't that because of you and your dad? So why do you expect me, the daughter-in-law, to pay the price? Just because I married you, I should give up everything and be a servant in your family? Santiago. Slap. Santiago's anger exploded and he slapped me. My face instinctively turned to the side. Oh my, did it get physical? Yeah. What happened? TSK, a big man hitting a woman, worse than a pig or dog. I pressed my tongue to my numb cheek. After a long while, I raised my head. Santiago hid his hand behind his back, looking guilty. Lisa, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Let's get a divorce. Santiago. I said calmly. What? His face turned pale instantly. I said, let's get a divorce. I said each word clearly and then turned and walked toward the department head's office. Chapter 8. Actually, the thought of divorce, I had it on the very first day I was reborn. But at that time, if I had brought it up, I was afraid this trip wouldn't have gone so smoothly. So I kept enduring. Yet, I never expected Santiago to heartlessly abandon his own mother and still come to school. What's worse, the moment he arrived, he went behind my back to the teachers and told them to make me give up my studies. Saying it nicely, I could take the exam again next year. Never mind whether I can pass next year or not. Just the way he completely ignores me makes me feel incredibly disgusted. In my previous life, for him, for the kids, for that marriage, what did I get? He found a red-haired confidant at university. After he became my superior, he blocked my promotion chances for 10 years straight. Every time I complained to the kids about my grievances, they would always side with him, thinking their dad had it hard too. Thinking that me staying home taking care of those two was fine. As for my wishes, my dreams, my future, in their eyes, it wasn't worth a mention. Having taken the wrong path once, I will absolutely never let myself fall again. Chapter 9. When I explained to the department head that Santiago's mother had only broken her leg, was not bedridden or paralyzed, and did not require constant care, the head was speechless. My grades were excellent, 40 points higher than Santiago's. Plus, I had worked at the military factory for 3 years and was an outstanding employee there. I not only mastered some confidential knowledge but also had quite strong math skills. In the eyes of the school leadership, my abilities far surpassed Santiago's, who got into university mostly based on grades alone. At this time, everyone was saying women could hold up half the sky. Many scientists and researchers were women. Many even dedicated their entire lives to scientific research. So the department head did not think that I should give up my future just because I was a woman to support a man who was originally not as capable as I was. When the head asked about the handprint on my face, of course, I didn't hide the fact that Santiago had hit me. Lisa, stay here and study hard, she said. The country needs talents like you. Don't worry about anything else, just focus on your studies. Hearing this from the school, I finally felt at ease. True to its reputation as a top university, the teachers didn't believe Santiago's words just because I was female and didn't think I should give up my studies to take care of his mother. I thanked the head sincerely and returned to the classroom. I don't know how the school leaders handled the matter, but after Santiago was summoned once, he never again spoke to me about giving up my studies to take care of his mother. And I threw myself wholeheartedly into my studies. When Santiago confronted me again, it was more than half a month later. Lisa, how long are you going to keep this up? You haven't asked whether I eat well, dress warmly, or if my clothes are clean. What exactly do you want? I looked up. I stared at Santiago for a while and then remembered he had come to the school too. I rubbed my sore eyes. First, I'm not keeping this up. Second, whether I eat well, dress warmly, or can do my laundry has nothing to do with you. I've told you, we're getting divorced. If you've come to terms with it, we can go through with the paperwork immediately. If not, then please keep your distance. I still had many books to read and no time to waste on pointless arguments with Santiago. Lisa, are you serious? You really want a divorce? Santiago seemed incredulous. I thought I made myself clear that day. I looked at him coldly. Santiago was shocked. Just because I asked you to go back and take care of my mother, you want a divorce? And it's been more than half a semester, and you're still angry and ignoring me. Are you serious? Before I could speak, someone called out from afar. Santiago. I looked up and saw a woman in a white dress, her long black hair flowing gently over her chest. She came over and stood next to Santiago. Santiago, so this is your wife? Then she looked at me with eyes full of persuasion. Wife, I heard you left your mother-in-law behind to come study here, and after Santiago talked to you a couple of times, you've been angry ever since. I'm just saying, as a wife, you have to be filial, or else a good man like Santiago will lose heart. Santiago pursed his lips. Lisa, is what she said true? Before I could answer, The woman interrupted, looking curiously between us. What are you two talking about? Her moist eyes looked at me with curiosity. Wife, what did you say? Why is Santiago so angry? Wow. Just now she called him Santiago. Now she calls him Brother Santiago so affectionately. I smirked. Who are you? We're husband and wife talking. What does it have to do with you? So eager to butt in. Is it because you have feelings for Brother Santiago? I sneered disdainfully. The woman's name was Celine. She was Santiago's college sweetheart from my previous life. The woman who, in my last year of promotion, caused Santiago to do everything to keep her and push me aside. Celine. But what surprised me was that this life, Santiago had only been at school for half a month before getting entangled with Celine again. Seems they really are destined. Celine's originally curious and innocent expression froze when I snapped at her. She was stunned for a moment, then quickly tears filled her eyes. How can you say that about me? She looked at me in disbelief, wiped her tears in humiliation, and ran away, in a white dress fluttering in the wind. Her thin figure looked as fragile as jade about to shatter, pitiful. Lisa, what are you saying? Santiago looked at the woman running away with pain, then turned to angrily lash out at me. Chapter 10. Smack. I slapped him hard. He covered his face, looking at me in disbelief. Lisa, what's gotten into you? Smack. I slapped him again. Lisa. Santiago, furious, raised his hand. I stepped back. Santiago, I'm right here at school, yet you're getting cozy with other women. Aren't you afraid I'll report you to the teachers? Santiago was flustered. There's nothing between Celine and me. We're just confidants. I almost threw up hearing that. Ha. I coldly walked past Santiago and returned to my dorm. Now that they hadn't done anything too outrageous, I naturally wouldn't say much, and I didn't want to waste my thoughts on them. Since Santiago didn't want a divorce yet, I'd just drag it out. The first semester soon ended. Because of my excellent grades and prior work at the military factory, I was given a secret mission before the holiday to work at the research institute for a year. No one knew about this. Of course, I never told Santiago. Chapter 11. A year flew by in the blink of an eye. When my work at the research institute came to a pause, I returned to school. There were still 6 months left until graduation. I needed to come back early to handle the paperwork because after graduation, I would go straight to the institute. When I returned, my roommates, whom I hadn't seen for a long time, were all extremely surprised. We planned to eat together in the cafeteria. But I didn't expect that as soon as I walked in, I saw Santiago and Celine sitting intimately together. They were almost leaning on each other, acting like a couple deeply in love. My roommate gave me an awkward glance. Lisa, you don't know yet, right? Your husband Santiago is a big deal at school because of his excellent grades. Many secretly like him. That one there is the closest to him. I knew that one my roommate referred to was Celine. I nodded silently, saying nothing. Santiago looked good on the outside and had great grades. If it weren't so, in my previous life, Celine wouldn't have stayed unmarried for him her entire life, almost becoming his true love. There was a lot of gossip about the two of them at school. But since I, the main person involved, said nothing, everyone just watched quietly. However, since I was back, I felt that my divorce with Santiago should be brought up. I took a step forward. Oh, eating. Santiago and Celine froze their movements and both looked at me. Lisa. Santiago suddenly stood up. When did you come back? Where were you this past year? Compared to Santiago's agitation, Celine's expression was calm but hostile as she stood beside Santiago, looking at me with antagonism. I heard you two have been inseparable at school, flaunting your relationship everywhere. Santiago, are we divorced or not? Santiago's face changed instantly and he pulled away from Celine. Celine instinctively looked at me. Are you really willing to divorce? The roommates gave her disdainful looks. Though they said nothing, their meaning was clear. Celine blushed but held their mocking gazes and fixed her eyes on me. It was as if demanding an answer. Are you really willing to divorce? Santiago wanted to say something, but seeing brave Celine, he seemed moved as well. He tightly held Celine's hand and looked at me. Fine, if you want a divorce, I'll grant it. I nodded. That day, I went with Santiago to get the divorce certificate. But just after the divorce, I went to the principal's office. I handed over detailed evidence about Santiago and Celine's affair during the year I was away. Compared to Santiago, who on the surface had excellent grades but poor character, the principal promised to give me a satisfactory resolution. A few days later, I heard Celine had dropped out. Of course, before dropping out, she and Santiago had gotten married. My roommates were very gossip-happy. You don't know, the school explicitly told them to choose, only one could stay. But Celine surprisingly said she would quit to let Santiago stay. Tisk, it's not easy for a family to raise a university student, and she gave up her studies so easily for a man. I just don't get it. I smiled bitterly and shook my head. She wasn't the only fool. It was me in my past life. But this time, it was Celine. Yet the one benefiting was the same, Santiago. I must say, whether in my past or present life, Santiago was a master manipulator. But after Celine left, Santiago began to frequently appear before me. He said if I weren't so stubborn and unyielding, he wouldn't have divorced me. Chapter 12. He kept hinting and probing, asking where I had disappeared to that year and what my plans were afterward. I knew there were rumors at school recently that 3 people would be selected for the research institute. My grades were good, but I had disappeared for a whole year. No one knew where I had gone during that year. But Santiago, who wasn't entirely clueless, worried that during that year I might have been on some secret mission and that I might be one of the contenders competing with him for a spot at the research institute. I ignored all his tests. What Santiago didn't know was, one of my tasks in returning was precisely to be selected for the research institute. Meanwhile, Santiago, who on the surface had good grades but spent most of his energy stuck in his messy affair with Celine, was never within my consideration at all. Chapter 13. Soon, the day to announce the list arrived. The school auditorium was packed with people. Many nervously watched the school leaders sitting on the stage. When the time came, a leader took out a list and read aloud the names of the 3 people selected for the research institute. Standing on one side of the stage, I saw Santiago clench his fists tightly. As voice slowly fell, I saw Santiago's face turn pale. Mario. Kevin. Leonardo. None of those 3 names was his. I looked at Santiago's ashen face, and I saw my past life. Time and again, I stood before Santiago as a judge, like a criminal facing sentence. When everyone said I could go, Santiago, the man who was my husband, repeatedly sentenced me to death. Being the judge this time in a new life, watching Santiago miss out on his dream felt exhilarating. Don't say I abused power. Among the 3 people I selected, Mario's grades were better than Santiago's. Kevin's practical achievements were better than Santiago's. And Leonardo was a returning talent holding core technology that was better and more impressive than mine. If I ignored such people and chose Santiago, that would be my failure. Chapter 14. All right, these are the 3 selected for the research institute. Now, let's welcome the engineer Lisa, who came here to select the candidates to give a speech. A warm round of applause, please. As the principal finished speaking, I was called up to the stage. I saw Santiago suddenly stand up from the audience. His eyes locked onto me as if I had done something unforgivable to him. I averted my gaze and didn't look at him. After finishing my speech, just as I was leaving the auditorium, my hand was firmly grabbed. Lisa, Santiago's eyes were red. Why were you chosen for the Research Institute selection? Why did you pick those 3 but not me? Are you taking personal revenge? Are you angry that I divorced you and remarried? Believe it or not, I'll report you for abusing power. I shook off Santiago's hand forcefully and said coldly. Whatever. Behind me, Santiago punched the wall hard. Lisa, you will regret this. Chapter 15. That same day, I was called into the office. Inside, Santiago was stiff-necked, clearly very unhappy. Comrade Lisa, Santiago obviously isn't satisfied with the personnel selection. Not only did he come to me, but he also sent a complaint to the Research Institute, accusing you of abusing power. So, please give us a report explaining why you chose those 3 instead of Santiago. The principal glanced at Santiago with a smirk. This is also to satisfy Santiago's doubts. Santiago's face turned pale, but he kept staring at me. I sighed and placed the prepared documents on the desk. Then I stepped back and said to Santiago, Take a look at these. Santiago's resentful gaze fell on the stack of documents. After he finished looking through them, he staggered out of the principal's office, utterly defeated. In this battle, he lost completely. The documents showed not only that the other three surpassed him in every way, but two of them had also published outstanding insights in their respective fields, and Mario had even been received by a senior official. Santiago was just someone with slightly better grades and looks, highly praised by the school. Even among the many similar students, Santiago might not even rank in the top 10. How could such a Santiago accuse me of abusing power? I took the 3 students and disappeared overnight from everyone's sight. Chapter 16. When I returned to my hometown again, it was already 20 years later. And I had become the director of the research institute. Mom, is this the place where you used to live? My adopted son and daughter looked at the city where I had lived for more than 10 years with curiosity. I smiled and said, "Yes, see here. This used to be the military factory where your mom worked for 3 years. Unfortunately, the factory has long since turned into an ordinary steel plant. It's no longer the way I remember it." Are you Lisa? I didn't expect the security guard to still recognize me. He came out from the guardroom. "Oh, you really are Lisa. I heard you're now at the research institute. When did you come back?" I was surprised that the guard remembered me, so I chatted with him for a bit. Before long, a door nearby suddenly opened, and a man was chased out by a woman holding a broom. "I've worked like a beast for you all my life, and you still dare to get entangled with another woman outside. Get out of here." As the door slammed shut, the man turned his dark face towards us and noticed our group. He was stunned for a moment. Lisa. Santiago, looking much changed but still thin, strode towards me. "Mom." My son took a step forward, instinctively shielding me. My daughter tightly held my arm, protecting me. "Mom." Santiago glanced at the two of them, then looked at me. "Lisa, is it really you? You're back." The past no longer mattered to me. So I faced Santiago calmly. My son seemed to recognize us and stepped aside. Santiago's gaze remained fixed on me. "Lisa, are they all your children? You remarried?" I just nodded and took my 2 children to the government guest house, leaving that place behind. I found it funny. What gave Santiago the idea that I wouldn't remarry because of him? Though for various reasons, I really was no longer suitable to have children. But my husband loves me very much. My son and daughter are all orphans of comrades who sacrificed everything for the country, and they are very filial. My career is smooth, and my family is harmonious. I think this life of mine is much more comfortable than the last. That night, many old friends gathered. Someone told me Santiago now works as a teacher at a school. Back then, because he divorced me and had an affair with Celine at school, his reputation was ruined long ago. When I selected people for the research institute and didn't choose Santiago, he even wrote a letter to report me. Although the school and research institute later understood the whole story, the name Santiago was marked with a big X in front of the leaders of both places. This caused Santiago to be kicked back to his hometown during the graduation assignment. He was assigned to the military factory where I used to work. Every year he tried to get into the research institute, but every year he was rejected. He thought I was still sabotaging him, so he wrote several letters to report me again. Unfortunately, none of the selectors after me was involved. And as I was repeatedly proven innocent, the name Santiago was completely blacklisted by the research institute. A person with such a confused mind was not wanted by the research institute. In the end, even the military factory wouldn't take him. He could only become an administrative teacher at a school. Speaking of this, someone mentioned Celine. They said after marrying Santiago, she became a housewife. These years she had to take care of her mother-in-law and children, and their life was full of quarrels. Santiago and Celine almost became a joke in the neighborhood. I just smiled upon hearing this. The past is like the wind. In a few days, I will return to my position. What does all this have to do with me anymore?